Oopsie. Alice, don't touch. Put your arm in, right?
Now you can see me.
Yeah, straight away. So we'll tell you what. Oh, sorry, did I scare you?
Yes.
Sorry. Well, we'll make it work. Hi crafty people and Merry Christmas! Today I'm sharing with you a tutorial about how I sewed Elijah's Christmas outfit. His Christmas outfit this year is a pair of shorts and these really cute suspenders. Next week's video I'm also sharing the tutorial about how I made the girls' Christmas outfits. They're each wearing a pinafore dress, 2 different styles of pinafore dresses, so don't forget to subscribe to come back next time and watch the girls' Christmas outfits. If you're wondering why our Christmas tree is in our master bedroom, then I'll leave a link to our latest life update video and that'll explain a bit more about that. A little later on in this video I'll be sharing with you where our family like to buy our Christmas cards from. It's a non-for-profit where all the proceeds from the Christmas cards and other greeting cards get sent to help people who are living in poverty.
Hey, you forgot to show these in the video.
I'll show them the cards after. This is just the introduction first. Yeah. We'll tell you more about Noteworthy Cards a little later on in the video, but for now, I am excited to share with you our tutorial about how I made Elijah's Christmas outfit. Let's get making!
Let's get making! My mum makes my Christmas outfit.
The pattern that I'm using for these shorts today is one that I've cloned from some of Elijah's clothes. If you're not sure how to clone a pattern, I've made a video on that before. This pattern I originally made in a size 3 and now that he's a size 4, I'm increasing the size of it a little bit. I did make those blue shorts as a test run of how big to make the size 4. To make sure that both legs will be the same, I used the first pattern piece that I cut out as my template of cutting out the second piece. And then I cut out all of the pattern pieces I needed. To make this pair of shorts, I needed 2 front pieces, 2 back pieces, 2 different shaped pocket pieces and a waistband. I'm going to start by taking both of my pocket pieces and sewing them together first, ready to attach to the front of the shorts. I'm sewing these shorts with French seams, so I'll explain to you what that is as we go. I'm going to start by taking my 2 pocket pieces and sewing one long side and the base of the pocket pieces together. This will be the part where your hand is going into in the depth of the pocket. I'm sewing quite close to the edge, sewing with wrong sides together, and then flipping out the pocket so that it is the other way, and sewing with it right sides together with my stitches further into the fabric. This will encase my initial stitches so that they are on the inside, it won't fray, and it will make for a nice smooth finish on the inside of all of my seams. I really love that my machine has the ability to move my needle because I find that really helpful in making French seams. Now that the 2 pieces of my pocket bag are sewn together, I'm ready to attach it to the front of my pants. There is a slanted section on the front of the pants so that you're able to slide your hand into the pocket. So I am attaching my pocket right there where that slanted part is. My pocket bag has an exact same slant on it, so I am attaching those 2 together. And then I'm top stitching along the pocket to make sure that it stays flat. Then I attach the front and back of each leg together, sewing down both of the seams. I treated the pocket as if it was part of the front piece of the fabric, and I just sewed straight down the side of the pocket along with the front piece of the fabric to attach it all together. With both legs sewn up, it's now time to attach them together. I start by pinning the 2 legs at the crotch seam to make sure that the seams match up, and then I pin the whole way around to make sure that it is even. I then sew around that seam to attach the legs together.
Oopsie! I forgot to do the French seam on this one.
Little reminder to myself, as much as it is to anyone when you're doing French seams, you want to sew the wrong sides of the fabric together first, then put the right sides of the fabric together to sew it normally to encase the seams. I do it for every project. There's always a time I forget and I end up unpicking. So here's your reminder, wrong sides together first, then right sides together. You're welcome. With that problem taken care of, the pants are all attached to each other and it's really starting to take shape at this point. We just need to do the waistband and hem the bottom of the pants. The waistband piece that you cut should be longer than the circumference of your child's waist to allow for the elastic to stretch when they're taking their pants on and off. I attach my waistband together at the short ends to make a loop, and then folding my waistband in half lengthwise gives me the correct shape to make a casing for the elastic. I've decided to use this lovely gold thread in order to create some nice festive details on these pants that no one's ever going to see or appreciate except for me. It's okay. So I'm going to start by sewing a top stitch around the top of the waistband in this decorative gold thread, and I'm doing this before I put the elastic in so that I don't accidentally sew over the elastic once it's in the casing. I'm also going to use my gold thread along the hemline of these pants, so I have my gold thread in the bobbin and I'm sewing around the bottom of my pants using a rolled hem. To do this, I fold the bottom of my fabric up twice and then sew along the edge as close to the fold as possible. I cut a piece of no-roll elastic so that it is the same length as Elijah's waist dimension. Then I attach the ends together using a zigzag stitch on my sewing machine and sewing a square around the overlapping part. The reason I don't add any extra to the waist dimension before sewing it together is because it needs to be snug in order for their pants to stay up. Then I push the elastic inside the waistband and I sew around the open edge of the waistband casing using a zigzag stitch so that it's attached together with the elastic on the inside. The last step of making these shorts is to attach the waistband to the shorts. And to do that, I'm matching the back seam of the waistband with the back seam on the pants, and then I'm finding the halfway point and attaching that to the front of the pants, the quarter points on the waistband and attaching them to the quarter points on the pants. Then I'm stretching between those points in order for the waistband to evenly fit around the pants. I always put a piece of ribbon in the back of my kids' clothing so that my kids are able to work out where the back of their clothing is and put it on the correct way, or at least that's the hope anyway. Now that the waistband is attached with a French seam to the pants, I'm going to top stitch along the waistband as well so that this flappy part is flat and won't be annoying on Elijah's waist. That's the last step to these pants, and the next thing I'm going to show you is how to make some suspenders. But before I do that, I'm going to take some time here to tell you about an organisation called Noteworthy. So let's find out a bit about them first.
So I have here some packages from Noteworthy Cards. Noteworthy Cards is a non-for-profit that sends 100% of the proceeds from the sale of their cards to people living in poverty. So I wanted to share them with you today because they have some really great Christmas card options. So here is a selection of some of their really cute Christmas cards. They have a lot of Christmas card options that you can purchase and a lot of greeting cards as well. So if you're interested in checking them out, I'll have a link in the description box down below. Their cards are made from recycled materials. I particularly like these two here, which are ones that you can color in. And I know Elijah at the moment is really into drawing and coloring. I know he's going to really enjoy these. Noteworthy have very generously sent me a discount code for you all as well. So you get 20% off on your order if you use the code Noteworthy at checkout. So I'm really glad to be sharing Noteworthy with you today. Again, this is not sponsored. We buy these cards with our own money, although they did gift a few to me so that I can show you their whole Christmas selection. And I really hope that you do check them out. So with all that being said, now we'll get back on with the video and I'll show you how I made Elijah's
Suspenders.
Yeah, that was the last word and I said it wrong. Okay, I'll show you how I made Elijah's suspenders.
So I bought my suspender clips online and I thought that I was buying 1-inch clips. Turns out they're 1 centimeter, but that's what you get for buying things on eBay. I'm just going to make do with what I've got here and just make it work, but they're much smaller than I would recommend. We tried the shorts on Elijah and we were happy with how they fit. Then I used the suspender clips and clipped 2 to the front at the correct places and 2 on the back. And that gave me a point in which to measure from to see how long each of the suspender straps was going to need to be. I measured from one clip up over his shoulder, across his back and to the opposite clip on his back. This gave me the length of how long I needed the strap to be. I decided to make the straps 3 centimeters wide or around about 1 inch, but you could make them wider if you had a bigger kid or bigger size suspender clips. This is how the back looks when it's finished. It has an elasticated part to make it easier to put on and off and also to keep it from sliding off their shoulder. Start by cutting out 2 long strips of fabric measuring about 9 centimeters or 3.5 inches across. This allows for you to have space for the seam allowance. I'm just cutting the whole strip of fabric at this point. I'm not measuring it to be the exact length that I want the suspenders to be. I cut 2 pieces of elastic, each measuring 12 centimeters long, and I'm sewing that on over a 20 centimeter piece of the fabric so that it stretches and pulls the fabric in. One side of the elastic will be 5 centimeters from the end of the suspenders. That gives me some space to thread the fabric through the suspender clips and sew it down. And I also mark 20 centimeters away so that I can mark the other end of the elastic. Before sewing the elastic in, I top stitched down the folded edge of each of the suspender straps using my gold thread. It's easier to do before you put the elastic in so you don't risk sewing over the elastic and stopping it from stretching properly. I changed my sewing machine to a zigzag stitch and I sewed my elastic down at each of the points that I'd previously marked on the back of each of the straps. I changed back to a straight stitch and sewed straight down the open edge of my fabric so that I made a tube, ready for me to then turn it in the other way with the elastic already attached on the inside. To turn your tube out the right way, attach a safety pin to one end and push that safety pin through the tube until it comes out the other side. I did find that it was quite tricky to push the elasticated part through the tube. It is possible, but again, if you were using a wider strap, it would be much easier because the elastic would fit through a lot better. So I don't think you'll have a problem if you make it that little bit wider than I was able to make just based on the suspender clips that I had available. Then you'll need to give each of your straps an iron so that it's flat when you're trying to top stitch down the other side. Remembering as you're top stitching past the elastic that you don't want to be sewing over the elastic because it will make it harder for it to stretch. When I'm top stitching, I run the edge of the fabric through the center of the presser foot and then slightly misalign my needles, leaving my top stitching nice and close to the edge. I feed the back of the suspender straps through the suspender clip and fold it over twice and sew it down with a straight stitch on my sewing machine. I go forwards and backwards a few times to make sure that it's secure. I tried the suspenders on Elijah to work out where I wanted the back to cross over. Ideally, you don't want the straps to cross over where the elastic is, but on the flat part, and then I used a safety pin to mark where that point was. I fed the front straps through the suspender clips as well so that I was able to see how long I wanted to make them, and I tied a knot to mark off how much I needed to cut off on each of the straps. Ideally, you do want the suspender straps to be tight enough that they are taking some of the tension in that elastic part at the back. With your machine still set on a straight stitch, sew a few different points over that crossed part at the back so that it holds it in place. And the last thing to do is to attach the clips on the front of the suspender straps. To do this, cut off any excess strap that you have there and then feed the clip onto the end of the suspender strap. Then you're going to fold the end over twice and then sew it with a straight stitch on your sewing machine to attach the clip onto the strap. So now that we've finished sewing our shorts and suspenders, let's try it on Elijah and see how it looks.
So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this tutorial as I made Elijah's Christmas outfit. And next video is going to be about how I make the girls' Christmas outfits. I'm making them each a pinafore dress and I think they look really cute on them. I'm looking forward to sharing that video with you too. So if you'd like to see that video, don't forget to subscribe so that YouTube knows to send that video your way. If you have enjoyed this video here, don't forget to press like to tell me that I should make more videos like this. And if you'd like to see more behind the scenes or just general day in the life updates, then follow me on Instagram as well. If you're interested to check out Noteworthy Cards, I'll leave the link in the description box down below, as well as a discount code there so that you can purchase some Christmas cards or greeting cards for your family as well. So thanks again for joining us in this video. Go get creative and we'll see you later.